I'm Andrew Martin, human biologist and founder of Precision Human Optimization, an elite health and performance company built specifically for business owners, executives, and leaders like you. And over the course of this video, I'm gonna show you how I was able to master my health, slash 40 pounds of fat off my mediocre body, and achieve the best physical condition of my life without compromising time at work, on my business, and with my family. This exact process has helped hundreds of high performers increase their energy, improve mental clarity, transform their bodies, and ultimately optimize their health and performance. If you're new here, you might be skeptical. There is a lot of information out there, and if you're like I was, you've probably tried a lot that hasn't worked. So I'm not here to convince you of anything, but rather share with you what has worked well for me and hundreds of my clients in hopes that it gives you some insight. And at the end of this video, I'll offer you an invitation where if you do want my help implementing this, you can get it. And if not, I hope this training will provide some valuable insight for you and set you on the right path. But first, let me be clear. This is not for everyone. Our clients are successful in their business and their careers, but failing in their bodies and health. If you are not a high achiever, ready to take your health and performance seriously, respectfully, this is not for you. If you're content sacrificing your health for more material success, this is not for you. And this is definitely not for you if you've bought into society's celebration of mediocrity and being normal. But if you care about operating at your peak, being proud of your body instead of being uncomfortable in a bathing suit at the pool, setting the example for your kids, and ultimately, when you look within, having respect for yourself, knowing that you're living up to your full potential, then this is going to be a very valuable training for you. So let me introduce you to how I got to this point so I can walk you through step by step what the process looks like so that's most helpful for you. So for years, I felt terrible, exhausted, injured, gut issues, skin problems, chronic fatigue, brain fog, and belly fat that I couldn't get rid of. My performance at work was suffering, and I struggled to be present with my family. Honestly, I made a lot of excuses for myself. Must be my genetics. I'm not 20 anymore. Nothing works for me. I had a bad victim mindset. So one Saturday, I remember this so clearly. My wife walked in, I was laying on the couch, exhausted, and she walked in and asked me to go for a hike. And all I wanted to do was nothing and just sit there and nap. And that is when I realized that if I wanted to start a family, be a good dad, be successful in my business, then I needed to take control of my health. And so I tried every popular health fix that was out there, paleo, CrossFit, detoxes, countless supplements, but nothing really worked. I'd make a little bit of progress, and honestly, I was probably better off than most people are. But I still felt like I had tons of untapped potential, and I wanted to be operating at my peak health and peak performance. I didn't want to be average. And so I went to my doctor and he ran the standard tests and told me everything was normal and then referred me to specialists. And those specialists just wanted to throw pills at me, pill after pill after pill. But I wanted to understand why I was having these issues. And so I spent over $20,000 in 5 years chasing answers only to feel more frustrated, more confused, and more overwhelmed. And the problem was not the doctors, it was the system. The healthcare system is designed to keep people alive. It is not designed to help people feel alive and go from good to great. On the outside, I looked fine. People thought I was doing well, but on the inside, I felt dead. And I knew that I needed a different approach, one that focused on finding and addressing the root cause of my issues so that I could optimize my health and optimize my performance. And so I decided to ditch the old model of healthcare and try something completely different. And here were the key changes I made. Number one, the biggest change that I made actually wasn't anything about strategy. It was psychology. I decided that I was going to stop being a victim, take control of my health, and stop relying on a healthcare system that wasn't serving me. No one was coming to save me. I had to save me. And without that mental shift, nothing else that I talk about in this video would even matter. Number two, I stopped waiting for my problems to appear and became proactive. I would address issues before they would even register as problems to the medical system. Number three, instead of settling for normal on my test results, I studied what elite and optimal test results looked like and aimed for those higher standards. I aimed for high performance standards when it came to my health. Number four, I stopped chasing quick fixes for my symptoms and started asking why I was having these issues in the first place. And within a year of making these key changes, I was able to heal my autoimmune issue, get off medication, lose 40 pounds of fat, gain 15 pounds of muscle, clear my gut, restore my energy and my sex drive, and even reduce my internal age by 6 years. This also helped me become more present with my family and more productive for my work so that I could show up better for my business and my clients. And it's done the same thing for hundreds of other high performers who have went through the same process. Now, I wanted to share all that with you in hopes that you may relate to some of my journey, but what we're really focused on here in this video is going through the new system of healthcare that I created for my clients. I call it precision human optimization, and there's a ton that we can unpack here and go through, so I'm not gonna go through every single detail, but we're gonna hit the main points, and it's a system that's designed to help you become the CEO of your health so you can amplify your success as a leader for your business, for your career, and for your family. There are 4 main components. The first is mastery. And it's the most overlooked part of having success with your health. Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology and 20% strategy. This is very true when it comes to your health. If you want to be successful in your health as a leader and for your family, you have to master your emotions and your mindset. You have to own that right now, your body and health are mediocre and make a conscious decision to say, screw mediocrity. I'm going to be excellent. I'm going to raise my personal standard for what's acceptable to me, and I'm going to take control of my health. And I promise you, when you really look within and make a decision to do that, you're going to unlock a new level of self-respect for yourself and confidence that makes you unstoppable. Number 2, we need the right model for health and performance optimization. The current healthcare model is broken. It's focused on managing illness, and it does a great job of helping people who are sick, but it does a terrible job of helping people who are okay and want to be excellent. The right model shifts the focus to achieving peak health and performance. It connects the dots between all the systems of your physiology and your lifestyle and considers how it all works together to help create an optimal plan for you, one that's specific and one that's personalized for your unique needs. Number 3 is the theory of constraints, which is that a system will only improve up to the level of its weakest link. For example, if a business has a 70% closing rate, but is getting 0 leads, there is no sense putting effort to working on the closing rate. The constraint in the business is that it's not getting any leads. And the same thing happens with our body. If you can identify what the core constraints are, then you can make progress faster and easier because you're actually addressing the right problem. Number 4 is optimization, which is simply about the actions that we do to create long-lasting results that are sustainable and last a long period of time. So let's talk about this. The first piece of the new model is proactivity. If your house is on fire, you wouldn't wait until it burned down to get the fire extinguisher. But with our health, we have all these little fires going on and we ignore them until the whole thing is up in flames. So let me share a little story with you to illustrate this. One of my clients, she went to her doctor because she was concerned about her thyroid. Her doctor told her that he couldn't do anything until she became diabetic. So she had to wait until she developed a chronic disease to even start looking into the problem. And by that point, it's already too late. So we have to be able to find what these deficits are in our function before they become bigger issues. So I started looking at my physiology and how my body was operating through the lens of optimal health and performance. This means number 1, greater depth of testing and assessing, because the standard blood panel at your annual physical is about 19 biomarkers, and that is simply not enough to figure out what the issue is. And number 2, raising the standards for those assessments and those tests. I call these precision standards. In the old system, your results are classified as normal or diseased based on outdated reference ranges. Those ranges are created by testing a random group of people, and the middle 95% of the bell curve are labeled normal. But here's the issue. Most people are in mediocre health at best. So when you're told you're normal, that means you're just being compared to an average American where 60% are overweight or obese, 42% have a chronic disease, 38% feel fatigued every day, 40% have gut issues, and 93% are not metabolically healthy. And I know that is not the benchmark that you're shooting for. You want elite health and performance. And that's why we have to raise our standards, not just in how we live our lives and what we expect of ourselves, but in how we view our health data. So when I looked at these test results, I don't settle for normal. I categorize them as elite, optimal, sufficient, deficient, or critical. And anything less than optimal is a signal that there's room for improvement, and that's when we take action. The goal is not just to avoid disease, it's to have optimal and elite health so you can live at your highest potential. So this is Rob. When he came to me, he was having issues with energy. He felt his performance at work was suffering. He was irritable and short with his kids. He felt like he couldn't gain muscle no matter how hard he exercised, and he couldn't get rid of the love handles, the spare tire around his belly. His testosterone came back at 260, which is inside the traditional medical system's reference range, normal reference range of 250 to 1100 nanograms per deciliter. But it is critically low when we look through the lens of optimal health and performance. He also had low cortisol, DHEA, bacterial imbalances, poor recovery and resilience metrics, high inflammation, and none of that red flagged medically. But they were all red flags using precision standards. And this is Rob now. I think the results speak for themselves here. So that is what the right model for health and performance looks like. It's proactive, it uses different standards, and it focuses on identifying and addressing issues that are truly holding you back. Finding constraints and solving the right problems is the critical step that most people miss, okay? And we use lab tests for that. Lab tests are very helpful, and biomarkers are very useful. We use over 600 of them when we're doing an analysis to help figure out what the issue is for somebody. But they are only as valuable as the context they are viewed in. Let me give you an example. One of my clients, Anthony, he went to his doctor who was pushing him to get on medication for high blood sugar for a long time. It turns out his blood sugar was only spiked when he was getting it run by his doctor because he was doing intense workouts before his blood draw and he was dehydrated. But nobody asked him about his lifestyle or his routine. All they were focusing on were the numbers on the lab results. And this is why labs are not enough by themselves. Data without context can lead you down the wrong path. Instead, we look at your body's KPIs, key performance indicators, to evaluate over 25 areas of potential constraints from sleep and hydration to stress and metabolism. And these KPIs help us pinpoint the root cause of symptoms like low energy, weight gain, or brain fog. The problem is most high performers skip this step. They work incredibly hard, but they focus on the wrong problems. It's like getting in a car, flooring the gas pedal, but heading in the wrong direction. You're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not getting where you want to go. This often happens when people try random diets or programs or even supplements that target specific symptoms like low testosterone or low energy or high cortisol or inflammation. Those are symptoms. And they don't ask the bigger question, why are my hormones out of balance? Why is there inflammation? Treating symptoms might give you temporary relief, but when it comes down to fixing the issue for good, you need to get to the root of the problem. And real progress comes from identifying what is truly holding you back and fixing it at its source. Take Brandy, for example. She came to me feeling bloated, exhausted, and frustrating that her hard work wasn't paying off. She's a type A business owner that was already putting in the work. She was eating right, she was exercising, but she wasn't seeing results. Initially, she thought it was her hormones that were the problem. And while she did have some hormone imbalances, they were being caused by deeper issues: gut health problems, chronic stress, and toxic heavy metals. We started by addressing the root causes, healing her gut, improving her stress response, and enhancing her detox pathways. And while we did that, we provided support for her hormones at the same time. And almost immediately, she began to feel better. She lost 10 pounds, she gained energy, she cleared her gut issues, and she finally felt like her hard work was paying off again. The key to optimizing your health and performance is finding the constraints that are holding you back, figuring out which of them are root causes, and then creating a personalized plan to help overcome those root causes and unlock your full potential. Now, everyone's process is going to look a little bit different, but the one common theme is this: if you want to become the best version of yourself, this is not a one and done type of thing. Our body metrics are always changing, and we are always changing because our environment is always changing. So it's critically important to check in with yourself every 6 to 12 months so that you can make the necessary changes and keep moving the needle forward. And the goal of reassessing is not necessarily to find more problems. The goal is to predict and prevent future problems from happening so that we can continue to perform at a high level for a long period of time. This process has worked very well for me personally and works very well for the high performers that I work with. Tom here is the president of a large construction company. He was able to drop 20 pounds, increase his testosterone, and increase his energy. Garrett is an entrepreneur. He cut his bad cholesterol by 25%, lost a bunch of fat, and gained muscle. Ben dropped 30 pounds of fat and got his mental clarity back. Christy, who's an executive, lost 15 pounds, eliminated her prediabetes, increased her sleep and energy, and is showing up better for her family. And those are just a few examples of transformations from high performers that this process has produced. So if you have watched this and you've been intrigued by my journey and this new system of health, performance, and longevity, and you think this might be something that could work for you, I'd love to invite you to book a free consultation by clicking the link in the description below. Again, this is for high-performing people who want to master their health and performance so they can amplify their success in the rest of their life. If you're okay being normal, settling for where you are, or you're looking for the next quick fix, please do not book a consult. This is not going to be for you. But for those of you who feel like this is for you, I'm looking forward to connecting. And the link is in the description. Again, click the link, book a time that works for you. And if you don't book, it's all good. I hope you found this video valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.